Day 5, Book 2. We are going to be where I have questions, and it will be on page the Mystery Lab. It is on page 321. 321 is where we're going. 321. And I lost my glasses. There. 321. So here's my plan. Here's how I came up with this whole thing. I needed to create a scenario that was very similar to what I have to deal with in the phone calls from the clients that I get every day to simulate. I'm going to go to here, 321. So I'm simulating it. I created a DD image on the laptop, and I just named it disk.dd, so nobody has any idea what it is, file system, anything about it. The theory was this: you just rebuilt the laptop hard drive, you were able to make an image with FTK. You took that image and now you're going to process that image. I am your client. I am pretending to be grandma, and grandma, whose grandson is really good with computers, has made me a laptop, and I do artwork for companies who need logos and graphics and things like that done. So, and I do go on vacation, and I have pictures of my grandkids on vacation. So what I know that I have lost when this hard drive died was I had a backup of some of my data, but the most recent thing I was working on was a title screen for a piece of software. And there is a title screen that has, it has pictures of penguins. So I was working on, and this is about the most information you ever get from it, I'm not kidding you. So there's some penguins and they're jumping. And so if you just look for some artwork that I've drawn, I need to redo the title screens for this company. They didn't like what the words were at the top. So I want you to find one of the title screens that does not have any words on it. You'll find the same thing duplicated like 6 times with different words on it and different layouts, but I need the one that has no words. So it's just pictures of penguins that are jumping. And so in order to find it, I'm asking you, how many penguins are there? So that way you'll know, and you can just tell me an answer and I know if you found the penguins or not. Okay? So how many penguins are there that are jumping? Now there is some information inside the picture, and it's up to you. Like, it's for forensics people, I kind of added these things just so they would look at something else and say, well, I need to look at it in hex and see what the EXIF information is and tell you an answer. So I did add those. I really only care that you found the picture. That's really the only thing I care about. So there is one picture that is jumping penguins. But Grandma was also on vacation at one point, and she's got a backup of all of her family photos except for the one where her and her grandkids went to the North Pole. So we all went to the North Pole, and Santa was there, and the grandkids were playing around and jumping around. So I need you to find the family photos of the North Pole, and so I really only need you to find one. I don't need you to find the whole slew of North Pole pictures, but there's one that will be specific that you will know it is at the North Pole. And this is the other thing, because Grandma thinks that just because she tells you the North Pole, you can just search for North Pole and it finds it in a photo somehow or whatever. Like, unless you name the photo North Pole, there would never be a name that says North Pole. So how are you going to find a photo of the North Pole in a vacation photo? How would you find it?
The coordinates in the...
Like, if I told you I need a photo that was a vacation family photo of the North Pole, how are you going to find it?
What date?
Well, if she told you the date, she didn't tell you the date. Is the North Pole real? Like, are we really going to the North Pole? Yes. I mean, the North Pole is this figment of imagination that we're taking our grandkids. Yes. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am Santa Claus. I am Santa Claus in my family. And so they were just on vacation in North Pole, and of course the kids see Santa. It could be at the mall for all you know.
Florida?
Huh? Yeah, Florida. It could be in Australia at Christmas. It's summer and it's 110 degrees, and Santa's outside in a suit sweating to death. But there might be a sign that says the North Pole, and as far as the kids are concerned, it is the North Pole. So, okay? So that's the whole point, is that one of the things that most people don't realize, you just can't search for things and try to find them by files. Most of the time, you have to look at all of the photos. Forensics people know this because that's all they ever do, is they just go to gallery view and they just look at everything. But in our world, in data recovery, we have to look at the photos. So the whole point that I was trying to make is you've got to find those 2 photos to tell Grandma that she is right. Here is where now this is the questions on the next page. I just want you to be able to answer, really, if you can just answer how many penguins and what's the date of the pictures of the North Pole. If you can answer those 2 things for me, I know that you could tell that. If you can use a hex editor, then you can figure out what the camera is and what the EXIF data is. So if you can do those things, I'm happy. The image I want you to process, and I'm not going to tell you any answers. You are going to have to find it. In the folder you've been doing all along, data recovery images, there is a folder that is called Z Other. It is Z Other so that you would have never known that this was going to be your secret lab. I did not call it the secret lab. So in Z Other, you will then find an image file that's called disk.dd. That is the one that I want you to process. Okay? So that is the image, and it is on the thumb drive that went around if you ended up wanting to take a copy home and look for it at home. So it is the same thing. There's a folder called images in Z Other, and it'll say disk.dd. So that's what I want you to locate. And there is a corrupt version and an uncorrupt version, and I obviously want the uncorrupt version. I want you to figure it out and recover the real photo with the real names of these items. Okay? Everybody understand what I mean? Are you good, Tim? I know you got to reboot, but are you good with what to do? It locked up.
That's no point.
What's that?
That's no point.
You need to unplug your drive. You need to not. Is it unplugged? Okay. All right. Let's make sure it's unplugged. But if it's still giving us a hassle here in a second, I have another laptop we'll swap it with.
It just, the Explorer crashed.
Okay. If that happens again, though, then something's not stable or something's going on, and I'll swap your machine so you can do the lab so that you don't have this problem, because I have more machines as backup, just in case. Okay. So you can use the tools on the laptop. You're not using Encase, FTK, anything else. I mean, you can use what's on the laptop. If you want to use FTK Imager, you can use that. But, okay. And then you go to C:, double click on the C drive, you'll see, and then data recovery images, and then Z Other. And that file is a file I want you to find the penguins. Okay? What's that? Yep. So I want the penguins. You don't have the other files I have here. I actually have another round that was, everybody always asked me to make an image of the My Hot Girlfriend pictures, and they wanted to find those. So like I said, she's a real girl who really worked for me, and she also was a model, and she signed over rights for me to use her photos in my class. So I can use all of her photos in any of my material. I actually have a document signed by a model that let me do that. So that way, if she ever made it to the FBI, I would have some evidence on her. Okay? I'm not giving you answers. You have to find those pictures. That's the challenge part.